Good morning. I'm not typically here during the morning hours, so I'm excited to be here on the web. Um, yeah, I'm here. It's Saturday. I'm trying to have some slow mornings in my life, so that's what I'm getting up to today. We're still on the floor. This is where the slow mornings happen. I like to chill in the floor space for as long as I can. So, yeah, I've been trying to have slow mornings because I feel like in the past I would sleep until like noon or 1, honestly, until I had a plan, and then I would just get up, get ready really fast and go do that plan, and I'm like, okay, well, I have no time for slowing down, quieting the mind, and breeding creativity when you're just constantly rushing around. So that's what I'm getting up to this morning. Today I woke up at like 9, and then I did a little yoga, maybe an hour and a half, honestly, of some yin yoga, meditated. Sometimes I'll read, journal, but today I had the urge to share with the internet. So that's what I'm doing with my slow morning. Um, and the topic I wanted to talk about has to do with slowing down and quieting the mind and the importance of that. But I would say the overall topic that I wanted to talk about today, took notes, is that you're not in competition with anyone, and that it's important to follow your own path. And in order to do that and to know what your path is, you have to be able to slow down and get quiet enough to hear that message for yourself. And I think I've been thinking about this for a while because of something that happened to me recently. So I've been in the yoga space in my community for a while now, and there's a woman I met like 10 years ago, probably. Yeah, 10 years ago. And we knew each other, fell out of touch, whatever. But I know that she had opened a studio in the community like 5 years ago. Actually, two. They own two studios in the community. And I had been a few times, but I haven't seen her in like 10 years. But I saw her the other day, and I was talking to her, and I was like, this is so awesome. Your studio is beautiful. Congratulations. And they're actually expanding to a third location, which is super cool. But yeah, we were talking, and I'm like, this is cool. And I was telling her that one of our mutual acquaintances, also from yoga back in the day, opened a studio a few months ago. And her reaction, it really stuck with me. So I was like, yeah, this person opened a studio a few months ago, and it's a really beautiful space. And she was like, that's awesome. I love her. I'm going to go check it out. And I was like, that's super cool, first of all, that you own a studio and you're expanding. And this person, the studios in proximity are like probably 5 minutes from each other, the one she's opening and the one this other person owns. And she was like, I'm going to go check it out, say hi. And then she said something that I loved. She was like, I truly believe that there's space for all of us in this community. And everyone has something unique to bring, but I truly believe that there's space for everyone. And I just loved that. I thought that was beautiful, especially her coming at it from like owning a business. Because I think we're taught to believe that we're one and then there's the other, and the other is competition, or your competitor. So for her to kind of dismantle that while owning a business, I just thought it was super cool. And she's like, everyone has something unique to offer. There's space for all of us. And I was like, that really applies to our personal lives as well. So that just stuck with me. I've been thinking about that for a while. And then I started thinking about it in terms of creating content, because before I got into it, I was like, well, there's so much stuff out there. Like, the world is swimming with content. Why do I want to add to that pool? And it's like, everyone has something unique to say. Everyone has a unique voice. And maybe some people won't resonate with one person, but they'll resonate with you. And I think that it's important to not let the fact that other people are doing something stop us from doing it, because we have our own unique perspective, our unique stories, personalities to bring to the table. And acting from this space that everyone is a competitor really brings a scarcity mindset, in terms of like, there's only X amount of like consumers or audience or whatever out there, and I need to claim them. And it just keeps us separate. And I don't know, what an icky way to live, in competition with everyone all the time. And I have a theory, and this might not make any sense, but it might. But I have a theory that society wants to keep us in this kind of scarcity mentality, or this competition mentality, because when we're in competition with each other, we don't have time to get quiet enough to hear our own path or our own voice. And we just are constantly working because we think that that's how we're going to get ahead of the competition, by working more. So I feel like society keeps us in competition with each other so that we keep working harder without any clear purpose or reason why we're working. And I feel like that kind of tricks us into working really hard for other people, because we don't have time to figure out what our own goals are, what our own purpose is, and what we want to be putting our work towards. And also, if you could think about it from a consumer lens too, being in competition with each other in terms of like societal status or whatever, like always pitting us against each other so that we're consuming more, so that we can be on par with our competitors or other people, and keeping us separate so we're working hard to attain these goals that we didn't even set, but we just think we have to be working hard because we always think we're in competition with other people. And I think it's a way to prevent us from slowing down and getting clear on our purpose. Because when we start working towards our heart's purpose or our goal, we maybe don't put as much time into things that don't matter as much, or working for other people, or buying unnecessary consumer goods because we're trying to compete with people. So that's what I think. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it does. And that's what matters. Yeah. What else did I write? Yeah, so I wrote, find your purpose, work towards it, but don't rush. I think another important thing that we don't think about often is that time is on our side. Like, we're always trying to rush out the clock, but it's like, have your purpose, work towards it, and the nature of it is going to have its way, but you need to be working towards your purpose in your own time. And I think you do have to get quiet, get still to be able to hear your purpose. So it's not constantly just rushing and working towards it. There's also the necessary step of slowing down, getting clear in your mind. And I also wrote, assume time is on your side, but don't let that let you be lazy, I guess. Assume time is on your side, but continuously work towards your goals, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But know that you have the time to get quiet, get still. And then I also wrote, assume everyone is on your side, including the universe, whatever, the way, the power. Assume everyone is on your side. And if people aren't on your side, then they're not your people. So if you have people in your life that you feel like you're competing against, maybe look inward and see where that's coming from. Is it a genuine competition, or is it just like society pitting you against other people for no reason? Or does that person maybe actually not want you to succeed and they are competing against you? And if that's the case, bye. So then I wrote about, how do you find your path? You have to get quiet, I think. And you have to get quiet enough to be able to hear it. And it'll find you if you get quiet enough. And there's a Ram Dass quote that I like a lot. And he says you have to quiet your mind and open your heart. And then he's like, how do you quiet your mind? You meditate, or you could do meditative acts. Maybe that's reading, maybe that's journaling, maybe that's yoga, whatever your act of meditation is, and open your heart. And he's like, how do you open your heart? He's like, you meditate on an object that you love, a person, a pet, a plant that you love, and you follow that trail of love deeper and deeper until instead of just loving the object, you love the source of that object or the creator of that object, whether for you that be whatever higher power, the universe, God, whatever. And he says, why stand at the outer gates when you could go into the temple? The outer gates being the external object, when you could go into the inner temple of loving the universe or the source behind all things, the source behind creation. And I just love that. I don't know if that's even relevant, but quiet your mind, open your heart, and then you can hear your purpose and be able to act on it. I have literature today. I do. So I've been reading this book, Taoism for Beginners. I'm not that far in, but I wanted to read a passage from it that was relevant to this topic. So here we go. Story time. It says, wisdom lies not in contending. Sensitive to the inner nature of self and others, the way leads through mystery by returning to the core of life. When you let be, circumstances stop being a problem. They go through their cycle. Allow matters to take their natural course, and the struggle of resistance lessens. Everything is then taken care of by its own patterns of activation and rest. Yin and yang represent the natural polarity that inevitably arises. By encouraging the natural, the sage permits Tao to become manifest. Thus, wisdom is found in silence, in quiet, in letting be. This draws things into being. So get quiet. Get quiet and the way will find you. Slow down. Know that you're not in competition with anyone. You're on your own path. You just need to be quiet enough to hear it and know what that path is so that you can take your steps forward. The last thing I wanted to say was, don't act from places of scarcity either. Fill up your own cup. Fill up your own cup. Take your rest. Take your time. And don't always act from this depleted state of go, 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 exhausting yourself. Because I think you start to lose the way or your path or your calling. And once you lose that, no, start over, go back, get quiet, take some rest. Act from a full cup. Don't act from a place of scarcity, because nothing good comes from a place of scarcity. So make sure you're taking care of yourself as you're trying to fulfill your goals or your purpose. Stop, listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to what you need, and fulfill those things before just sitting down and working. Or moving towards your goal. So yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. You're not in competition with anyone. You're on your own path. You just need to get quiet enough to hear it. Listen to it, let it guide you. Your way is your way. It's not anyone else's. But make sure you're taking the time to get quiet, open your heart, hear what your path is, follow it in your own timeline. Time is on your side. People are on your side. If they're not, then they're not your people on this journey. And make sure you take care of yourself. Act from a full cup. And create authentically. Do things authentically. And that's what I want to say. I'm feeling chatty. I want to keep talking, but I stopped making sense after a certain amount of time. So we're going to stop it here. But this was lovely. Maybe I'll start doing this more often on my little slow morning routines. And I hope you're having a great day or a great evening. And I will see you around the web.